Hello students, in the last lecture we discussed about the necessity of a transformer as well as we have written that the principle of a transformer is the mutual inductance. We know that the transformer will be used to step up or step down the voltage, that is to increase or decrease the value of the voltage, because while transferring the power from one place to another there is a loss of a power in the cable connecting the power generator station to the consumer or a city or town. So the need was to step up the value of the voltage. So depending upon the number of the turns, in the end we will see it is the number of turns which will make the transformer to be step up or step down. So the transformer principle is based on the mutual inductance. So it is based on principle of mutual inductance or electromagnetic induction, and it is used to increase or decrease the value of the voltage. Now there are two ways, or there are two types of a transformer. Both the transformer consist of two coils, where one of the coil is called as a primary coil, which is generally the input of a transformer, and the other coil is a secondary coil, which is also referred as the output of a transformer. Now in this first type of construction, we have two coils, primary and secondary coils, which are insulated from each other and they are wound one over the another on a soft iron core. So this is your sheet of a soft iron core having some gap here in which the primary coil is wound, and on each turn, means there will be one turn over the another. If we have a one turn of primary, then the second turn is secondary, then again the third turn is primary. So the two coils that are the primary and the secondary coils are insulated from each other and they are wound one over the other on a soft iron core. So this is one type of construction of a transformer. The other type is both the coils are wound on the separate limbs. So these are been referred as the limbs of the transformer, LIMBS. So here the primary and the secondary coils are wound on the separate limbs. Again the material is a soft iron core. So now the primary coil, which is also referred as the input of a transformer, here a voltage is applied. Here the voltage is applied. So in the construction we basically write that there are two types of construction. In one of the construction, the primary and the secondary coils are insulated from each other and they are wound one over the other. So one turn of primary, other turn of secondary, like this, where the number of turns of the primary and the secondary coil is different as per our requirement, whether we want a step up transformer or we want a step down transformer. And in the second type, the primary and the secondary coils are again wound on a soft iron core, but they are on a separate limb. Now the input, let us discuss about the working. The input is connected across the primary coil, that is our AC supply, or you can say the output of AC generator becomes the input of a transformer. So the input voltage is applied across primary coil. So we apply the input voltage. Now the corresponding current or when the input voltage is applied, the resulting current flow in the primary coil and produce the magnetic flux. Now, since your input voltage is an AC voltage, the current flowing in the primary coil is an AC current, so it will produce alternating magnetic flux. It produces alternating magnetic flux. So if I have two coils, now let us draw this coil separately. One is a primary coil, and let us say the other coil, which is the secondary coil, is kept like this. A similar structure, like one solenoid is kept inside the another solenoid, but there the radius of the two solenoids were different. One was a smaller solenoid and one was a larger solenoid. Here the radius, or you can say the area of the coil, is same. So one coil is kept inside the other, or while constructing we have one turn of primary, then another turn of secondary, like this. Now we know that when the AC current is passed through this coil, it will generate the magnetic field. Now this magnetic field at any instant, suppose, have this direction. So this is the direction of the magnetic field lines. Now since the current is AC, the magnetic flux is alternating magnetic flux, means as the current rises, the magnetic field will also rise. The magnetic field will be produced in the primary coil and the magnetic flux will increase, because we know that phi is equal to BA cos theta. Here theta is 0. So we have BA. Now B is mu naught Ni, but I is alternating. So the magnetic flux is also alternating. It keeps on increasing and decreasing. Now all the magnetic flux produced in the primary coil get linked with the secondary coil. So there is an induced EMF in the secondary coil. So the resulting current flow in the primary coil and produce alternating flux. This alternating flux is linked with secondary coil. So we assume there is no loss and all the flux or all the field lines passes through the secondary coil. As a result, EMF is induced in secondary coil. This EMF induced will produce a corresponding output current which will be taken out from the secondary coil. So here AC voltage, which is a source, is applied to a primary coil, and the induced EMF, so we say it is based on the principle of either you say a mutual inductance or electromagnetic induction. This induced EMF is taken across the secondary coil. So this is how this type of transformer work. Now come to this side. Again, we connect an AC supply or AC voltage to the primary coil. So the magnetic field will be produced in it, or you can say magnetic flux. This magnetic flux is linked to the secondary coil with the help of the soft iron core. Now what is the property of a soft iron core? It gets magnetized immediately, as well as it also gets demagnetized immediately. So as soon as the current rises in the primary coil, it produces the alternating magnetic flux, and all the dipoles, if we talk at a microscopic level, this dipoles of a soft iron will get aligned in the direction of the field. So this magnetic field lines of a primary coil plus the magnetic field lines of soft iron core get linked with the secondary coil, we can say the magnetic flux link both the coil. The magnetic flux link both the coils. So as the current rises, the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil also increases. As the magnetic field decreases or the magnetic flux decreases, or as the current in the primary decreases, the corresponding effect take place in the secondary coil. We assume that there is no loss in this process. So all the magnetic flux of the primary coil is linked to the secondary coil with the help of a soft iron core. So advantage of taking the soft iron core is that it helps us to link the primary and the secondary coil efficiently and effectively, because this material have magnetic permeability. Its magnetic permeability is very high, so there is no loss of any energy. So this is how both the types of transformer work. Now let us come to the mathematical portion or the mathematical treatment of this transformer, from where we can understand how it helps as a step up or a step down transformer. So we have NP and NS be the number of turns in primary and secondary coil. Now EMF is induced in the secondary coil. The EMF is induced in the secondary coil. Now we know the mutual inductance formula. The induced EMF is equal to the number of turns minus sign with the Lenz law and the change in the magnetic flux, because it produces the alternating magnetic flux. So induced EMF in secondary coil, induced EMF in the secondary coil. So we give a symbol ES, S for secondary, minus sign for Lenz law, minus NS d phi by dt, that is a change in the magnetic flux. This change in magnetic flux is due to the current in the primary, which itself is an alternating in nature. Now induced EMF. Now we also know a self-induced EMF, because the current in the primary coil is increasing and decreasing, then we have a phenomenon or a process of the self-induction. So back EMF in primary coil. So we have induced EMF in secondary coil and the back EMF in the primary coil, that is EP is equal to minus NP d phi by dt, assuming there is no loss of the magnetic field lines or the magnetic field intensity, or there is no loss of energy. All the magnetic flux of the primary is linked with secondary. So we have same d phi by dt. The change in magnetic flux in the primary and the secondary coil is same. This is possible only when we assume there is no loss of energy. So ES is equal to minus NS d phi by dt and EP is equal to minus NP d phi by dt. Now the resistance and current in primary is small. So now the current and the resistance in the primary coil is assumed to be small. Therefore, we assume EP is equal to VP. So EMF is replaced by the voltage or a terminal potential difference. Now we know that it is not possible that the resistance of the coil is zero. So if there is some resistance, then EP will be equal to Vp, that we know the concept of the terminal potential difference and EMF. So there is some resistance of the primary coil. So we replace EP by Vp, and if we assume there is no resistance in the primary, then the current in the circuit would be infinite. But it is not the case. We have a VRMS or IRMS of the current, so the current is not infinite. So we assume EP is Vp, and therefore we write Vp is equal to minus Np d phi by dt. Also, we talk about the secondary coil. Again, the current is small in secondary coil, and again there will be always some resistance available. Otherwise, we assume that if the secondary is an open circuit means that current obtained from it is very small. So finally we will get a induced EMF, the potential difference across these 2 points, and then if I connect any device, the current will flow through that device. We assume the current which we obtain from the secondary coil is very small. So again we replace ES by VS. So this Vp, either you say it is the amplitude of the voltage, then we have an amplitude of our output voltage. If I consider this Vp as VRMS, then Vs will be written as VRMS. So Es is equal to Vs is equal to minus Ns d phi by dt. Now we take the ratio of these two equations. So Vs upon Vp is equal to Ns upon Np. So this is the first formula. This ratio Ns upon Np is also known as the transformer ratio. Now let us say, let us take the value and try to understand whether how we can prepare a step-up transformer or a step-down transformer. If Vp is equal to say 220 volt, the number of turns in the primary coil is 100 and the number of turns in the secondary coil is 1000, then find out Vs, that is the EMF across a secondary. So from this equation it is clear that Vs is equal to Ns upon Np into Vp, that is equal to 1000 upon 100, that is 10 times 220 volt. So it becomes 2200, that is 10 times of 220 volt. So in this case Vs is greater than Vp. So this is a step-up transformer. So if you want to make a step-up transformer, Ns should be greater than Np. So in step-up transformer, or you can say for step-up transformer, Ns is greater than Np. So if you want your transformer to work as a step-up, or if you want to increase the input voltage, you increase the number of turns in the secondary coil. Here the number of turns in the secondary coil is 10 times that of Np. So the output voltage also becomes 10 times. Similarly, if we change this value, the output of the output voltage will be equal to 1 upon 10 times, that is 22 volt only. So in step down transformer, Ns is less than Np. So this is one formula which is important for the transformer, whether it is a step up or a step down transformer. So Ns greater than Np, step up, or Ns less than Np, it is a step down transformer. So depending upon the number of turns, so while preparing the transformer, you have to keep in mind whether you want to make a step up transformer or a step down transformer. Now here we have assumed the condition that the resistance of the primary coil and the current is small, as well as the magnetic flux produced in the primary get linked with the secondary. However, there is some losses in this transformer. So this is an ideal transformer. We talked about the ideal transformer. So what conditions we have taken? The primary resistance is low, the current is low in the secondary coil, in the primary coil also we have assumed. As well, it is a soft iron core which link or which connect both the coils. So the magnetic flux, we assume that all the magnetic flux get linked with the secondary coil. Again, it is an ideal situation. So this is an expression for the ideal situation. Also keep this in mind, this ratio of Ns upon Np, that is ratio of the number of turns in secondary coil to the primary coil, is sometimes denoted by small r, and it is called as transformer ratio. So in the terms of a ratio, if I say r is greater than 1, so Ns is greater than Np, so it is a step up transformer, and if r is less than 1, then it is step down transformer. Now assuming there is no loss, that is 100% efficiency, then input power is equal to output power. So we have discussed this initially, that whatever power is produced at a power station, that entire power has to be transferred to the city or a town, assuming there are no losses, and therefore we need a step up transformer on the power station side and a step down transformer on a consumer side or in a city or town. Now we assume that we have a 100% efficiency of any transformer. So what will be the input power? So input power will be equal to Vp Ip, that is equal to Vs Is. So whether you have a step up transformer or step down transformer, and if both are ideal transformer, so step up is also ideal, step down is also an ideal transformer, then always take the input power is equal to the output power. Therefore, Vs upon Vp, that is Vs upon Vp, can be written as Ip upon Is. Now Vs upon Vp is equal to Ns upon Np. So this can be written as Ns upon Np, and this is a R. Again, if R is greater than 1, then we know Ns is greater than Np, or Vs is greater than Vp, that is a step up transformer. But you see that current, the relation is reciprocal here, and that we have discussed, that if the voltage is stepped up, the current becomes low, and if the voltage is stepped down, the current value increases. Then only it is possible that input power is equal to the output power. So you have to remember, if R is greater than 1, then we have Ns greater than Np, Vs greater than Vp, that is a step up transformer, and Is will be less than Ip. Now this is your Vs found. Here Vs is been found. Suppose we have a resistance of the secondary coil also. So I can use the Ohm's law and find out the current also if the resistance of the coil are given. If the resistance is not given, then I can make the use of this equation, that is Ip upon Is is equal to Ns upon Np. So Ns upon Np is 10. So IP upon IS is equal to 10, and therefore IP is greater than the IS. So when the here Vs is greater than Vp, here primary is greater than the secondary current, or you can say Is is less than Ip. So this is how we find out the relation between the input voltage, output voltage, input current, output current, and if it is given that the transformer is idle. Now idle transformer can be step up or step down. In both the cases, input power is equal to output power. However, if the transformer is not an idle transformer, then the output power is always less than the input power. For non-idle transformer, means there are losses due to the resistance, or if the magnetic flux produced in the primary is not linked with the secondary, then output power is less than the input power. Now this input output power has nothing to do with the step up or step down, whether the transformer is step up or step down. As far as if it is an idle transformer, input power is equal to output power. For non-idle transformer, whether it is step up or step down, the output voltage or the output power is always less than the input power. Now let us see the losses in the transformer. The first loss is a flux leakage. Now see, we have made two types of construction. In this, one coil of primary was wound over the secondary coil. So both the coils, primary as well as secondary coils, were wound over each other. However, due to poor design of core or air gap in the core, so if the wires are not wound properly one over the other, then there is a possibility of a flux leakage. Means it is possible that all the flux produced in the primary does not get linked with the secondary, and this happens in such type of transformer because we have a air gap here. So the construction is like this. This is a soft iron core. This is soft iron core. So the primary coil is wound here, and the secondary coil, the size are identical on both the sides. This is not an identical size. So the thickness on both sides are equal. So this is how the the coils are wound. So primary coils are wound on this side, and the secondary coils are wound on the opposite side. These are the two limbs of the transformer. We say it is a two limbs. So all the magnetic flux linked of the primary get linked with the secondary. Now it may be possible that this wire wound consists of a gap. It should be tightly wound. It should not be loosely bound like this. You cannot wound like this. There should not be an air gap. So if there is an air gap, there is a possibility that this soft iron core is not magnetized. It is important that the wire is wound tightly over this soft iron core, so that this soft iron core frame help us to link the magnetic flux. So in this type, there is a possibility of poor design or air gaps in the core. Now how will we reduce this loss? Reduce by winding primary and secondary coil over the other. So this type of construction is more advantageous as compared to this, because in that the flux linkage will be less, because both the coils are wound over each other. Then second type of loss is the resistance of the winding. So as the name suggests, the wire which we use have more resistance. So if the resistance of the wire used for the primary and the secondary coil is very large, there is a Joule heating effect, that is H is equal to I square RT. So this loss is minimized by using the thick wire for high current and low voltage. So if the current flowing is high, then we know the voltage will be low. So if we use a thick wire, so if you take a thick wire, I is equal to V upon R, that is a Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. It means I is equal to V upon R, and R is inversely proportional to area. So current becomes direct proportion to the area. Now V is low. If the area or the thickness of the wire is more, the current in this situation will be high. So use a thick wire so that the resistance of the wire, so that the energy lost is minimized. Then we have a eddy current. Thus we will discuss this topic we have not discussed. So eddy currents are nothing but an induced current only. They are circulatory currents because they are produced in the form of a circle. They are circulatory currents. So induced current in the form of circle is called a circulatory current or an eddy current. This eddy current also produce heating effect. See, we know that when the current is flowing through this primary coil, the flux will get linked with the secondary coil. Now there is a possibility that the eddy current, that are the circulatory current, and this circulatory current have a plane perpendicular to the induced magnetic field or magnetic flux. So if I say the magnetic field produced here is like this, this is the magnetic field lines which is linked. This is how the magnetic field lines get linked. So there are circulatory current here. We have a circulatory currents. These are the induced current which will oppose the growth of the current. It will oppose the growth or the decay of the current. So when the current in the primary coil is rising, the induced current or eddy current is produced in such a way that it opposes the growth of the magnetic flux. So if the magnetic flux try to get linked from primary to the secondary coil, this induced current will produce the magnetic field opposite to our field, thereby heating up the coil. Now we don't have only one soft iron core. It is not that just one thin sheet is used for a transformer. We have to use the number of thin sheets. We have to use number of thin sheets. So if I connect or if I join this all the thin sheets of soft iron core, there would be some thickness. Now this eddy current, which are circulatory in nature, will be produced like this. They will the circle of this sheet matches with this sheet, so the eddy current intensity or the eddy current strength will increase. The magnetic field produced by the eddy current will oppose the growth or the decay of our magnetic field or magnetic flux. Now how this can be minimized? It can be minimized by using the laminated core. So if I use this one soft iron core, then I put some laminated portion between these two sheets. So here these two sheets are not directly joined together. We have to keep a laminated sheet or laminated material, any laminated material, say a mica sheet. So I put a mica sheet here and then I fix up the second soft iron core. Then I put a mica sheet and then I fix up this. Now what will happen? The eddy current of this sheet will be confined to this soft iron core only. So because if we have a thickness, the eddy current of all the soft iron core will add up, thereby producing the magnetic field which oppose our magnetic field. So as a result, when the primary coil magnetic flux get or try to link to the secondary coil, this eddy current, which are circulatory in nature, they will be like this. They all will add up and it will oppose our magnetic flux. So when our magnetic flux is increasing, it opposes the growth, that is the Lenz's law. And when our magnetic flux is decreasing, it will again oppose. So it will oppose the growth and the decay of the magnetic field. So this circulatory current strength is reduced by putting or by placing some laminated sheets between this different soft iron core. So we have to take a number of the soft iron core plates like this. They have to be attached or fixed with each other. So we put a laminated so the eddy current can be minimized. Then we have a hysteresis also. Now what is this hysteresis? The magnetization of core is reversed repeatedly. Say when the magnetic flux is increasing, we have used the soft iron core. Now why we use a soft iron core? Earlier also I said the soft iron core has a property of getting magnetized immediately, because the dipoles of this soft iron core is completely or immediately aligned in the direction of the field. So at microscopic level we have discussed the magnetization process. So this soft iron core, there are number of atoms of a soft iron core. Each atom behave like a magnetic dipole. So in the absence of the field, these dipoles at a room temperature are randomly oriented. Now as soon as the magnetic field is produced by this current in the primary coil, all the dipoles will get aligned in the direction of the field. As a result, the resultant field will increase. That we have studied. B is equal to mu naught H plus capital M, that is magnetization and demagnetization. So soft iron core has a property of getting magnetized, and immediately when our field will reverse, because the flux is alternating in nature. So after half cycle our AC voltage or AC current change its cycle. So the soft iron core or the dipole should also immediately gets aligned in the direction of the field, or it should get aligned in the direction of the field. So we use a soft iron core. So the magnetization of core is reversed repeatedly. So if we use another material, it will take some time, because work has to be done on it to align the dipoles in the direction of the field. And now this will generate the electric field, this will generate the heating effect. Again the core or the transformer get heat up. So this material which we use for winding the primary and the secondary coil should be soft iron core. So as our flux increases, the dipoles or the atomic dipoles immediately gets aligned, and when our flux is reversing its cycle, the dipole should immediately reverse its direction. As a result, the heating effect will be minimized. However, in real practice, there is always some loss due to one of any of this reason. It cannot be minimized. It is impossible to get 100% efficient transformer. But while designing this transformer, you have to keep in mind the first thing is, if you want to stop or minimize the flux leakage, wind primary coil over the secondary coil. This is advisable as compared to this. Use a wire, thick wire for high current and low voltage. So if you require a high current, then you use a thick wire and the energy loss will be minimized. Eddy current, so between the two soft iron core sheet, we put a laminated sheet so that the eddy current, which is circulatory, does not get add up. So it can be minimized by using the laminated core. And hysteresis is a phenomenon of the magnetization and the demagnetization. Though we have not discussed this hysteresis in detail, but you remember it is a phenomenon of magnetization and the demagnetization. So this magnetization, demagnetization, or reversing the cycle, this whole is called as a phenomenon or a hysteresis curve. We have a hysteresis curve. So it is possible to magnetize, demagnetize, or reverse the atomic dipole. So that graph is hysteresis curve, which we have not discussed. But you have to use a material which immediately get magnetized, and again it reverse. Whenever our input reverse its polarity or the magnetic flux or AC voltage or AC current, the dipole should also change its direction immediately. It should also magnetize in opposite direction. Now this is possible only while We use a soft iron core, which is a strong ferromagnetic substance. So this is how we minimize the losses in the transformer. So here we wind up our chapter also. This was the last topic of our chapter, alternating current. Have a nice day.